Lads, lasses, and all of God's masses, welcome back. My legal name is C28, and we're doing the intro at Full Sail. It's fun. Starting off Hall of Fame, over by the tent area, by building 1 and 2. So, hopefully, we'll be able to go to more events today. That's the hope indeed. I'm going to try to arrive maybe half an hour early to events instead of 20 minutes early. Maybe that gets me some brownie points in addition to signing up for the events. We'll see. But as of now, hopefully some of these food trucks open up when I get myself something to drink. I'm parched. Picked up a blood orange drink over at the Florida Juice Company. That is good indeed. Good vitamin C and whatnot for the day. You know, Full Sail, a lot of people here. Keep yourself healthy. Whoa. Hi. I'm from post-production. Okay, so I just made it here. That's fun. I was sent to explain some footage that's upcoming. So there's gonna be footage now of a broken screen that apparently some sort of EMF stuff looks like this. I think someone needs to press a red button somewhere.
There's a big EMF thing happening there.
Is it EMF? It could be EMF.
Yeah. That doesn't look like anything normal through wires. All of a sudden, shadow.
Yes.
Yeah, we just do shadow wizard money gang, and it's just like then we all get
This is
rickrolled.
the shadow
We all get procedurally rickrolled.
We like casting spells. Some random dumb bull. You know someone would do that. You're at Full Sail, someone would do that.
But that's the thing I was here for. I'm surprised I don't have anything else to say. I have no more lines. I'll be back in a bit. Cut! Sorry. If my voice sounds really strange or otherwise different, that's because I think I might have a slight throat infection. Yeah, it's not fun. It's time to consume more vitamin C. But at least I have a cool vocal effect. That's something in it. Yeah. The pain's not outstanding though. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, we're gonna go over to the pre-production C28. For my first event, it's gonna be a budgeting financing seminar. So hopefully I can get in. We'll see. I'm around half an hour early, so we'll see what happens here. Stop dropping me like that. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So, here's the info. So, at the event, we had a few people there. We had Brad Barbie from the Audio Workstations class. Brad is an awesome instructor. Really appreciated his class a lot. Then we also had a duplicate Brad, who is a mastering engineer, worked on stuff with Maroon 5, Black Eyed Peas, Prince, Kiss, like a bunch of really fun stuff. And then we also had a fella named Brian, who's a 1997 recording arts grad, then went on to do Show Pro. Very cool indeed, and has over 2 decades of experience in live performance. So starting off, there were discussions on payment, like, hey, it's not going to pay outstanding when you start. So it took some time for Brad to be able to get to the point where he could sustainably be a mastering engineer. He was just kind of making ends meet with the stuff he was doing when he started. And now he's gotten to a point where he's living pretty happy, especially with the dividends that he gets from the songs that he's worked on. It's definitely good to get a percentage rather than a price on some projects. But on the topic of money, we brought up taxes. So getting your taxes done and having a tax professional is the best thing you can do. Unless you are a tax professional, it really is outstanding to get a tax professional that can do this stuff for you. Prices range a lot. You can get a tax professional for like $200. You can get a tax professional for $1,400. Really varies. You can get more if you want. If you want to pay like a $5,000, I'm sure someone will take that offer. But Brian said like he's been doing TurboTax for years, previous to getting his guy, and once he did get his guy for taxes, he hasn't regretted it. It's saved him money more than he's spent money. One of the things he's mentioned is TurboTax doesn't really care about keeping you for their employment as much as someone who's freelancing will. So the freelance fella that he got, who is acting as his tax professional, he's a tax attorney. One year he was asking for some extra documents. He said, hey, we're gonna have to do an amendment. There's some stuff that was done wrong last year, but it's all right, we can get this done. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get you about 2,600 back. He's like, yeah, let's do it. 2,600, that sounds outstanding. So moral of the story is get a tax professional, because they're going to be more invested into getting your taxes done right, because that'll make you happier as a customer than you may be with something like TurboTax or whatnot. And then for shop around, look at different tax attorneys. And it was mentioned like the best way to find your tax attorney is ask your mates who are in the industry, who's your tax person? Can you send them my way? So I actually do have people I know that I could talk to, so I probably will message them after I shoot this video log, do my school assignments and whatnot, and just ask them like, hey, who have you got for taxes? Because right now I'm doing my own taxes and it is a pain. I've got Tracker and whatnot I'm doing with Apple's numbers system, but it's not the best. I should probably have a lot more documentation and whatnot. Actually getting paid was another big topic that was brought up. It sucks, but sometimes you gotta send people to collections. Sometimes you have to threaten people with legal stuff for them to pay you. But if you're sticking with a customer who you know is trustworthy, you trust them, they're one of your mates and whatnot, keep that person around, because they're gonna pay you. As opposed to the random street kiddo who wants his GarageBand track mixed for 200 and then doesn't want to pay you. And then as far as deciding rates, Brian explained this. He said his rates are dictated by his years of experience, dictated by the job itself. What are you doing? So take a look at, am I going to be a lighting director today? Am I going to be doing any sort of audio mixing? Am I going to be doing anything in regards to just something as simple as catering? What am I doing? That will dictate, of course, the payment required. And just know you have to stay sustainable in the industry. You have to make a living and you have to still get hired. So don't go crazy with your rates, but try to consistently increase your rates as you go. Maybe if you get to a point where it's like stupid sustainable, it's awesome, you're living amazing, then you can like kind of stop increasing. But just try going higher and higher. Yesterday's price is not today's price. That was something that was said over a year ago, but by like a day. Hall of Fame 13. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Things change all the time, and one of the things that changes is experience and customer bases and your schedule. So honestly, just having more respect for your experience and wanting proper compensation for that, there's nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely increase your rate within the span of like 24 hours or less. You take hiring from one person and you do it for 500. You take it from another, you do it for 600. It's fair. Everyone's agreeing. And of course, you probably heard the phrase, if your client is too excited to say yes to your rate, it's too low. So if they're asking something like, hey, how much do you think it's going to be for you to mix this track? And you say, I reckon we could do 400. They're like, yes, that sounds great. Let's do it. You messed up. You should have said at least 500, if not more. And you got to kind of gauge this with different customer bases. And as you get to know your customer, your client, you'll be able to gauge this a little bit better. And again, yesterday's price is not today's price. So even the next gig, if it's like the day after, say, hey, sorry. Don't even say, don't say sorry. Don't you dare say sorry. Say, hey, my rates have changed. It's now this now. Are we able to continue with this rate? And if they really appreciate you, they like the work that you've done, they're going to say yes. One of the really important things that was said is don't try to lowball yourself so that you'll get customers, because that kind of customer is always going to take whoever has the lower rate. So if someone has a rate $1 less than you, you're not getting employed. It's not based on how well they know you. It's based on how much you're charging them. And that's not a great relationship to have. Which ties us greatly into the next concept, which is how are you going to get clients? And this might be scary for a lot of you, especially introverts out there. But Here's the deal. Especially in music, engineering, audio engineering, there are no cold calls. People rarely, if ever, go ahead and call you up, say, hey, I saw your website and I wanted to know, can you do a mix for me? It's not very common. The way you're actually good at your work, as described by Brad, is you're going to have people you know. And you're going to say, hey, if you've got some projects you're working on, you know, I could do some stuff for you. Maybe help your mates out, do it for a bit of a discount or a little bit of a discount, and build rapport with them. Then, audio engineer friends that you have, say they have clients that go their way. Have them refer to you. Be in the loop with your mates. Let all your friends know, hey, yeah, I am an audio engineer. That should be something important that they know about you, is what you do. Hopefully your friends can advocate for you. Your business partners can advocate for you. But very importantly, there are basically no cold calls in professional audio. It's all relationships. It's people you know. You got to Disney because you knew someone at Disney. You didn't get to Disney because they just looked you up and liked you. Last little point I'll talk about on rates and whatnot is it's okay to take less if you know that you'll get more opportunities in the future. So think about a lesser known or just like really young artist who wants to get stuff mixed. They're not a big label. They're not going to have crazy amounts of money for you. But would you rather have, instead of $1,000, $800 or no dollars? Which one do you want to go with? Do you want to go with the no dollars option or the $800 option? Knowing that 1,000 is not on the table, that's not happening. You're probably going to want to go with the 800. So if you can get some money out of a job and you're not getting a whole lot in, take it for the lower price. If you can stay sustainable by getting more gigs with the same person, that's brilliant. That's very good. You should be doing that. And then again, to find jobs, as with having a network, get off your couch. That's what was said. It was get off your couch. That's the first step, is get off your couch, get out of your house, and go to where the people are. Get into the arena. If you want to work in the arena, go to the arena and talk with people there. Say, hey, could I wrap cables for you? Hey, do you need assistance with catering? Do you need assistance with drapery, lighting, anything? Anything that gets you in the door then gets you more jobs and more of the job that you want. One of the fears that a lot of people can have is, well, if I say that I'm going to be doing utility wrapping cables, I don't want to be known as the person that's wrapping cables. Trust me, they'll figure out more about you as you go. Even in the military, where I literally was legally required to have this one job, and I'm not going to be doing like weather systems or intel. I was like, just this one job. Just the fact that you say like, hey, I can do this other thing, you get more jobs. So in an open industry, you'll get more jobs. But now, back to C2A at Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Post-Production C2A, for that info. So, just finished up the event, and now outside here we got Shure in the back. Oh, wait there. Is that it? That's it, right there. Hard to point. Shure's doing some karaoke stuff with their microphones. Got some quality stuff, of course, some 58s, some of their other microphones, whatnot. But yeah, I was standing information like C2A myself in the future said. Yeah, let's move on to the next thing. So next up here, just like last year, we have a nice little line here, which is going to be for acquiring your Hall of Fame shirts. So we got swag, free swag out for everyone to grab. And yeah, you're just going to kind of wait in this bit of a line. But yeah, once that's all done, get your Hall of Fame shirt. So I'll have Hall of Fame 13, 14, and I think I should be making it to Hall of Fame 15 as well. And I'll plan to make it to Hall of Fame whenever I can after full sale as well. So they were out of mediums and the one I wanted, but good news is I can come back the next day and then just get in line early and hopefully be able to pick up the one I want in the size. So doing that instead of picking up today. And wrong size or one of those, just don't want. The next event I'll be going to is a production and mixing seminar with Universal Audio, so I'm very much looking forward to that. It'd be nice to see from UA people who actually make a lot of the products, the sentiments they have about mixing and production. So aside for that, I've got a few questions to ask them about the Luna recording solution. I think it's called Studio. Recording this. Thank you, post-production. So looking forward to that. And then once, of course, get my shirt, drop it off at the car, maybe sit in the AC for a bit. Stay hydrated. It's hot out here.
Oh my goodness, can you stop that? I don't know what kind of power live C28 has over post-production, but I don't like the direction. I don't like folding. Anyway, as you heard them say, but me, then I went to a seminar hosted by Universal Audio. They talked about a lot of their products that they have and the Luna recording system. So it's a very nice system. I use it for mastering myself, and I love the console emulation that is done, especially the API emulators that Universal Audio has. I use the API summoning plugin. I use the API Vision channel strip. It's brilliant. It's really, really well done, and I love what Universal Audio has done. So I don't think there are a whole lot of points here for me, but the first thing that I highlighted is that Universal Audio has a rich, long history. Over 60 years of legendary sound, they say. 60 years indeed. Bill Putnam, CEO, founder of, not CEO anymore, but Bill Putnam, founder of Universal Audio, was brilliant. Really master of all. He did a bit of everything from studio stuff to broadcast and just all kinds of things. And he's labeled as one of the fathers of modern recording. So again, they showed off a lot of the gear that they have from the analog units they have from the LA2A, the 1176, and other fun little bits of gear that they have. Of course, the LA2A is the famous Latois, the compressor that everyone is dying to have. The 1176 is also a fantastic compressor. And in fact, the interface I'm using right now to record has an 1176 compressor, so or the unit in it. So I can actually turn that on now. So if I turn on vocal compression, right now vocal compression is on, and I'm going to hold the microphone a little bit further away just for gain control. But I can also go on to guitar compression right here. This is guitar compression. And then I can go on to something like fast compression, which is this right here. And you can hear how that changes things. Of course, due to how it's operating, it's going to be bringing up the noise floor, so you're hearing a little more of that static. So I can turn that off completely and then go back to here. And now you hear me a little bit more clearer. I do have some digital processing happening in Logic to make my voice sound the way it does. So there's that. I just have some enhancement on it without all that stuff. So the 1176 compressor, the LA2A, very, very popular analog systems that Universal Audio sells. And they're quite old, to be honest. They work and people love them. So yes, the vintage mode, I can turn that on again. So vintage right now, there we go. You may have heard that change. So the vintage is, it's mimicking the LA610 tube preamp sound with that vintage mode. So the LA610 tube preamp is that sound. So we can toggle it here. So have it on right now, and now it's off, and now it's off here. You can see, hear the difference. Maybe it's a slight difference. Of course, there's a lot of digital stuff happening still in the background. So I'm not going to go through the trouble of undoing that, because that's a lot of editing, and I've already got so much editing to do. But yeah, we can turn it back on here, and then what do I think? Do I think it sounds better? Do I think it sounds worse? It's on right now. It's off right now. It's off, and then I'm going to turn it back on. And now it's on. It's on. It's on. I don't know. I think it's actually a little bit better on. It gives me a little bit of a smoother sound to my voice, especially with a bit of a throat thing I'm dealing with. Let's just verify that. Is it? Oh, it is indeed. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna keep vintage on for the remainder of the video. So they talked about Luna as a recording system as well. It's a digital audio workstation that Universal Audio gives out, and they used to only give it out when you buy an Apollo interface or any of their interface things. But they have recently, I think in 2020, is that right? I didn't write it down. But recently, in the past few years, they've released it out for the public to just have open, free. You can have a professional, full featured DAW. And I mean, I told him, I think it's kind of false to call it full featured, because it's more featured. It is really, really, really impressive. It's got a lot of really great things, especially with the console emulation. And they have not just plugins, but extensions. So that's how you get these other features from Luna, is you're able to have, like I mentioned with the API summing, you can have API consoles embedded into your signal flow. They're not really plugins. They work differently. Technically, yes, they're plugins, as in they're doing stuff with your signal and they're going through and changing it, but they don't work quite the same. You can't just pull this out of Luna and put it into Logic, Ableton, FL, Pro Tools. It doesn't work. It's a Luna exclusive type thing, and extensions are a very nice tool to use in Luna. Next up, we went into the different microphones that Universal Audio sells. So we started off with the high-end Bock series, B-O-C-K. Those are the premium hand-built tube and solid-state microphones. They're like the high-end, really fancy ones that you'll see. And then next up, we have the Sphere modeling series. So Sphere is really cool. Sphere is a type of model that allows you to record with the Sphere or any of the Sphere series of microphones. And then using a software called Hemisphere, you can convert it into a different microphone. So UA knows the properties of that microphone. And it's not just doing EQing. It's doing a lot of stuff too with compression. Oh, sorry, I kicked the thing. It's doing a lot of stuff as well with compression. It's doing a lot of stuff with multi-band compression. It's doing a lot more than just re-EQing it. And one of the things I noticed that's very impressive is when you change from one microphone to another, it doesn't seem to affect the noise floor, which is like impossible, right? Like surely that can't be the case. Like even when I turn on my compressor here, the noise floor goes absolutely crazy. It's pretty mad. So yeah. We're gonna turn that off. Perhaps that's an extreme example using like the analog compressor stuff, but point is they do it super well. And then they also have just a standard series, just regular microphones, something like this, the Sennheiser E835, the SM58, something like that. I need to get a 58 or 57. I gave one away, and funny enough, I actually don't even own one, but it's one I need to get. Yeah, should probably buy one soon. On screen, as you've been seeing for some time, they also have guitar pedals and effects units. So they have, I believe these use digital signal processing. I don't recall if they did say that these were analog. I don't think they are, though. I'm pretty sure these use DSP to do a lot of their stuff. But plenty of different amp pedals, and then the effects pedals as well. Very fun things. And do I have? Okay, I don't have the other stuff. But they also had smaller units of like the LA2A. So basically it has the plug-in built into this tiny unit that you can carry around and put into your signal chain for anything, which is quite cool. But that's it for that event. So I'm going to pass it back to live C2A. Don't you dare drop me again. I will be so upset with you. I better be seated when you cut back to me, okay? I don't care about your direction. Go. Great information with Universal Audio. Off to Immersive Audio Essentials now. So we're off in the mixed tempo right now. And yeah, hopefully gain some good information about how to use BES and whatnot. We'll see. All right, so unfortunately they're at capacity there, so we're not gonna be able to get in. But they are streaming the event, giving it out to video feeds over on, I think either Full Sail 1, or should be on the Hall of Fame, the app. Quick interjection, haha, I'm directing now. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you want to see any of these seminars, they're going to be on YouTube. And I'm especially going to mention the last one that I went to here. Very cool. So back to C2A again, the live one. All right, picked up some glasses because it is bloody bright outside. I don't want to blind myself. I suppose it's better than going deaf, but still like eyesight. I'm going to check out the food trucks again, see if there's anything fun to eat. Been at a few events without some nourishment, so that's be good. Then off to the Audio Temple again. Hopefully this time we'll be able to get into the next event. But if the lines seem pretty long again, I suppose, yeah, I'll just have to not be going in. I think people are definitely taking the advice of camping there early. People getting there an hour in advance, so an hour before the event starts, it's already at capacity. All right, over at food trucks now. Just went over to and got one of their arepas, I guess they're called. Some sort of chicken, shredded chicken and Gouda thing, some bread. I don't know what the heck it is. Of course, an arepa is what it is, but don't know say. I would love to consume this, but unfortunately, it's really bloody hot. That's an issue. It's like burning me to even touch it. It's the Immersive Audio seminar, so sorry for that. Excited to hear some good stuff about how to properly mix this stuff. It's been a bit of a challenge as of recent, trying to get the beds and all that to work and bounce properly when I do the final mix down. So
Looking forward to being able to ask some questions about that, especially with Logic Pro. Yeah, so looking forward to that. I'll give you more details in post now.
Ooh, okay. I'm seated as I start. That's good. Thank you. So the next event was not at the Audio Temple. It was in the Audio Workstations room. I guess that's not what it's really called. It's FS 3B 107, 307. I've got no idea. But it's the Audio Workstations class. That room is where it's at. So 3D, spatial, immersive, audio. What is all that? That's what we started with. So this was a panel with quite a few people. Leslie Brathwaite was meant to be there, but he got busy with some other things, so just wasn't able to attend the event. That's fine. Bro is busy. Packed schedule. So yeah, what is immersive audio? Well, to start, what's audio? It's a representation of SPL, sound pressure. It's the things that we hear. It's the representation of what we perceive as humans as the sound stuff. So you could either do it where you at least just hear the sound, which is going to be one speaker, one thing reproducing it, which is mono, which is what my voice is being recorded in, because you can see that there is one microphone which has one diaphragm. So it cannot record anything else. Now I can do some fun stuff with like multing and using delays and other things to change the stereo imaging of the vocal track, but it's a mono signal, meaning one. Then we moved on to stereo, where we're like, hey, wait, we have two ears and they help us distinguish where things are in space. So then we started getting some really cool stuff with panning. Then you can have like something on this side or this side, or all that fun stuff. That's where you get stereo. And you can get some binaural stuff, which is where you start simulating a space around you, but it's not spatial yet. Spatial is where you actually have different speakers all around you. Surround sound. This is where you now have stuff coming from behind you, above you, below you, etc. Below you is not as common, but technically it is supported. It's just a bit tricky. And it's not possible to do, I think, in Logic with the way that they do the signal processing for Atmos and other immersive render things. They got a few different rendering algorithms you can use, but it's a thing you can do. So immersive audio is where you now have a file that can speak to these different speakers, and it tells each one what it should be playing. And the cool thing about it is it's upgradable and downgradable. So you can't really go from mono to stereo. It's just going to be dual mono. You can't go from stereo to mono because you're going to be missing one of your channels. So you just got to kind of combine them, and then you get one signal, or just take one of them and reject the other ear. In immersive audio, you have what are called beds. This wasn't touched on, but beds are essentially the location in which you're housing objects. So you can house objects, which are the things that are producing the sound in your digital space. And your different beds will correspond to sort of where different speakers are. And the encoding for this can then dictate which speakers will play what, how they'll play it, what time, of course, all that fun stuff. Also done through like just Bluetooth headphones, but in stereo, not in Atmos. So how do you get to Atmos when you're doing something for headphones like AirPods Max, AirPods Pro, all these fun things that are saying, hey, look, immersive audio, you can turn your head around and look at things and whoa. Well, it's getting a binaural render of it. It's not actually spatial. It can't be spatial. A lot of people are upset by the term spatial audio by Apple, saying that it's putting you in this space, because that's not what spatial audio is. Spatial audio is when you have multiple speakers all around you. This is binaural audio, but Apple has coined the term spatial audio, so it shall stick. So it's binaurally rendered. What does that mean? Well, we got two ears, and based on the difference in when sound comes to us, different reflections and all that, we can tell where an object is. So instead of having different speakers all around you, you render based on what the human head perceives. And there's a name for this. Let me look at it real quick. HRTF is the thing I was referring to. Basically how we know what things sound like relative to a human head in space. And then it just collapses it down into a stereo mix. But it has been rendered with all those binaural things in mind. So you're able to look around and it knows where things should be. It's a little bit more fancy than that, as I described it. I'm not a very advanced spatial audio engineer. I haven't got into that a whole lot yet. I've done some spatial stuff, but I still need to dive into that a little bit more myself. One of the records that was recommended for us to listen to was Bury a Friend by Billie Eilish, mixed by Phineas. Phineas is an outstanding engineer, and the spatial stuff that he did on that is really something. I haven't listened to it yet in spatial audio. I will after this to get a sense of it, but really impressive stuff, especially the voices they mentioned, like the way voices come from behind you and they're done right. A very important thing with spatial audio is less is more. It is easy to overdo this and ruin it. When you're doing spatial audio, you should be bringing emphasis to a singular or just a tiny select few objects. Think about mixing in stereo. You don't put your kick somewhere random over here. You don't put your snare like up above. You don't do crazy things like that unless you're doing experimental music. So unless you're doing experimental music, you aren't going to be panning things all crazy in spaces, having them move and do all these dynamic things. That's reserved more so for movies and doing stuff like that, video games and whatnot. For music, you're going to be doing very subtle things, and it can be distracting and really muddy up the stereo field if you have all these different dynamic things happening with the imaging. And I say dynamic as in changing, not like actual dynamics of level and stuff. So one of the issues I always had with spatial audio is I had so much difficulty exporting the files and hearing everything. So I haven't implemented any changes yet in any of the files that I've got that are, or any of the sessions that I have that are in spatial audio. But here are some tips that I was provided with for how to go about fixing issues where, say, the renderer is not receiving audio, or you're just not hearing everything when you actually get the final bounce when you export your mix. So here goes. First up, mute the last thing in your signal flow. Whatever the last thing in your signal flow is, if you mute it and you hear stuff, that stuff you're not going to hear because it didn't make it to the last thing. Really simple. I think this was briefly touched on in mixing techniques, but really simple bit of advice. That's brilliant. I'm going to definitely do that in future. Just like a safety check. It's easy. Just hit mute, one little M button, and there you go. So mute the master and make sure that you're not hearing anything. If you hear anything when you mute the master, it means that something's not making it to the master fader. So get it there. Another thing is you could potentially check preferences to see if there is a channel count limit. So there could be a case where you have a cutoff of a certain amount of channels that are allowed in. And if you are surpassing that, then it's not going to pass those extra channels to your renderer. And finally, just like I said, make sure everything makes it to the renderer. Check the signal flow, make sure things are actually getting there. I have done this in my sessions, so like they're making it to the renderer, but they're just not. I don't know what's going wrong. So I'll be doing some troubleshooting, making sure I can get these things working. But I really want to get the Sonic World series produced to give you that really interesting episodic series of just sound. That'd be really cool. So that's pretty much it for the immersive audio seminar. Another bit of advice, just don't be afraid of it. Play with it. The worst thing that can happen is you delete a track or something in your sandbox session. Nothing bad's going to happen. The avid police won't show up at your door. You're going to be fine. And lastly, just say Pro Tools and Logic Pro have renderers built into them. The Atmos renderer is built into Pro Tools. The Atmos renderer is also built into Logic, as well as a spatial renderer that is proprietary Apple stuff. And Apple's got a few different rendering engines that you can use, but that's a whole story for other day, whatnot. So back to live C2A, here we go.
Just got out of the immersive audio seminar. Really good stuff. Of course, as you'll hear in the post-production, me speaking. But yeah, really good info, and got some assistance with understanding how to properly mix down the mix in Atmos or spatial audio.
I mean, I don't think we needed those clips, but well, they're here, so may as well use them, I suppose. There were a lot of clips that I got rid of. Oh, hi, you. Me. From the future. Spoiler, I have glasses in the next clip. So then after that, I went over to the feedback loop.
Back over the feedback loop. So, got some fun music plays. So yeah, again, just like I said yesterday, it's an event where you send me your music, 2 engineers review it, and sort of everyone else in the as well. So very good event for people to attend, especially if you're going to be doing engineering in the future, or if you're a current engineer. Absolutely. Fun event indeed.
Yeah, you can't hear a thing I'm saying. I'm sorry about that. But basically just trying to show off the feedback loop. It's a fun little area, again, showing off your mixes to Leslie Brathwaite and just getting them reviewed, getting them seen by a really, really popular, awesome engineer. And it's fantastic to get that feedback. So directly after that, we went to a seminar on AIS, Artificial Intelligence Systems, specifically the generative kind, so generative AI in a creative world. So again, just a short little segment for me here in post-production, so off to live C28. You, go!
Outside of the location for the seminar on creativity and artificially intelligence generative world. So it's going to be an interesting talk. I'm excited to have some conversations with some people about the state of machine learning and whatnot. Yeah, they're running a little bit late, just some audio issues, so in the next 15 minutes we should be able to get in. But yeah, to explain what happened, off to post-production. Stand by right now for the speakers. I think they're doing some RF changes in the back by the server room. I see that we have a microphone just right there on stage. So not sure exactly what's happening, but they did get the loudspeaker public address system working, so that's good. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully in the next few minutes we'll start hearing some voices.
And indeed, we did hear voices. Not like going crazy or anything, just like the loudspeaker. And as you can see, I'm in a video right there. Where is this with me in the video? This is the event. That's a stupid thing to say. Let's roll back. And of course, I'm in a video there, you see. Yeah, very, very cool. So this seminar was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to say it again after I cut to the live me, but whoa, lots of really awesome explanations of AI as a computer science field. It was fantastic. There's a lot of misinformation out, not like malicious misinformation, just people not aware of what things are, misnaming things, inaccurately talking about the capabilities of certain things, being afraid of things unnecessarily. And Sean McCobb of Insomniac Games did an outstanding job with this. So Sean McCobb is a game developer. He graduated from game development at Full Sail and is now the head of, I believe it is the head of technology or the director of technology, something along those lines at Insomniac Games. So the company that makes all those Spider-Man games, Spider-Man 1, 2, Miles Morales, all that. That's his company. And he's one of the people that is in charge of getting those games to market. He's part of the creative team, and it's really awesome to see someone who's not just like an AI computer scientist talking about this, like someone who's just like you and I, just in the industry, who has done research on this, is an absolute fan of this stuff, loves it, and is here to talk about it. That's what I love to hear. Not saying that I hate hearing from computer science people, but yeah. And of course he is a computer scientist, being a programmer. So let me cut off from myself on the screen and go to Sean real quick on stage. There we go. We'll just have Sean in the background. Is this a good image of him? There we go. That's a good image. Ish. Sorry, Sean, if you're watching this and you don't like the way you look there. But yeah, so we are not allowed to record during this seminar because it is being recorded. So I was not able to get anything written down, not allowed to use my phone, just in the moment. But from what I recall, and again, you can watch the whole video. I'm going to put it in the description. It is fantastic. The name of the whole thing is here right now. It's really, truly an awesome seminar. I recommend to anyone who has any interest or no interest in generative AI or just AI as a whole field, as a whole. Really great topics brought up. So Yeah, start off with what is AI? So, AI stands for artificial intelligence, as we all know. Well, it's the big buzzword of like the past few years. It's a realm of computer science diving into seeing how machines can conduct tasks that are traditionally reserved for humans with human intelligence. So, artificial intelligence aims to get things done that are typically reserved for humans, of course. That's from sorting things, from identifying things, and complex tasks as well. So, with robotics, especially. Now, machine learning and deep learning are the two very different things under the realm of AI. They're both AI, but they are different things within the realm of AI. So, machine learning, first off, is using predetermined algorithms in order to dictate how an outcome will be made. So, saying, based on information that I have about my zip code, what is the average cost of a house? That's really simple data to tabulate and get. And you can use ML for that. You could get, based on this number here and this here, and you get a table set of the zip codes and the cost of houses, pull that all down, and you can get an algorithm that will describe the relationship between price and zip code. Pretty cool. Deep learning goes a step further and uses simulated neurons. So GPUs are used for this because they're great at pixels and they're great at neurons. Deep learning is where you now have neurons instead of just these algorithms. And these neurons are describing complex relationships between different things. So if you're doing something like generating images, every pixel is a neuron. Very insane. So you'd have different inputs, and then you have what's called the hidden layer. So that hidden layer, will actually go the other way. So we start with your inputs, and then your hidden layers in between. And it's not something that was touched on a whole lot. And honestly, fair. Not a need to really dive into what this does if we're just talking about definitions. But you got the hidden layer, and then the final output layer. And the hidden layer is it's the fancy thing that tweaks and helps it get to the next step. Basically, think of it as a secondary processing point. And you can have multiple hidden layers. You could have hidden layer 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of it as different quick stops before it arrives at your output. And then your output is the fun stuff, and that's where people are like, oh my goodness, the machine is sentient. And no, it's not. And then finally, we arrive at generative AI. Generative AI is another step deeper. So, as Sean says, it's a subcategory of a subcategory of a subcategory of computer science. It's a lot of layers deep. Yeah, we just call that AI. But no, AI is the whole broad thing. Generative AI is a small subset. And these are based off of models. So models are sort of the instructions for how to build your algorithm, which describes these relationships. Now you're using these deep learning algorithms. You could probably use machine learning algorithms as well, but deep learning algorithms to get some really fancy creative stuff. And the biggest thing that was mentioned is, spoiler, if you're going to watch it, I guess skip like the next minute. Generative AI, it is creating stuff without creativity. So that means humans are the ones with the ideas. Sean also touched on in this seminar, human brains, how we work. And we have very complex relationships built into our minds. Our minds don't work as simply as the neural nets in deep learning models. They are very similar, but they don't work the same way. They're a little bit more complex. And due to the complexity, the difference in human brains, we're able to establish some really interesting relationships. Sean touched on, we have two modes of thinking. We have our sort of, I forget the terms that were used. I can look them up real quick. So as he describes it, cognitive control and default mode. So cognitive control is your logical, reasonable thinking. Like, okay, if I drive my car too fast, I should probably slow down. Good. Default thinking is like daydreaming. It's like a thought just passes through the head. And these are kind of the opposites of each other. But when we're acting creatively, these two are working together. So you're getting this mashup of disagreement in logical thinking and daydreaming, sort of like irrational, random thoughts popping up. And that leads to creativity. And there's a third thing as well, which describes the relationships between seemingly unrelated concepts. This is called novel analogies.
Essentially, me looking at this microphone and you looking at this microphone. Because our brains are using different neural nets, when I look at this microphone, I look at the foam head on this thing and I think about the microphone it actually came from and the memories of me working with one of my friends, Lily, from my time in the Air Force, working on different songs together and like really awesome fun times. You look at it and you're like, that's a microphone. Or you have your own thing. You see this and you're like, oh, I remember when my friend Steve told me about like what these things are. I remember when my mate Jamie told me about this and whatnot. And we all have our own ways we connect things. You look at, say, this stand. What comes to your mind when you think of this stand? And the way Sean did it is he showed us by saying dog. What just came to your mind when you heard dog? And it's different for everyone. That's the thing he's talking about, is there are relationships built into the mind that are just there. That's what makes you valuable as a human, is those. That's the diversity of humanity that makes us so powerful. That's why it's dangerous to have a non-diverse working community when you have people who are all from, say, one small city or like all are interested in the exact same thing. You don't have any diversity of thought. You lose an ability to bring up these really novel connections. And now maybe not lose it, but it becomes less common among people who are more similar to each other because they have the same inputs, and then you're gonna have different outputs, but fairly similar outputs, as opposed to people who had wildly different inputs. So it's very useful to have people who have very different experiences for that exact reason. And that's the thing that I don't see explained very well when people bring up diversity, equity, and inclusion, is that's the real importance there. It's not about representing skin tone or something like this. It can be to some degree, but it's about representing ideas that people have, these actual life experiences that people have, these significant things that make us truly human, those connections. That's the actual, like, most important whoa factor that makes a massive difference. It's the ideas you have and the life you've lived that has built you as a human. That is something that generative AI does not have the ability to have. You can put it in there, but that's an idea a human made. It takes maybe a couple hours, maybe a few days, weeks to train a model. It's taking you a lifetime. You have a lot more training data and a lot more time being trained than these systems. And you have very unique ways of tying together concepts, information. So because of that, no, you're not going to have these things replace you. They can't, because that's not how you get creativity. It's how you create. But it's creating without creativity. You need a human for creativity right now. The only way is with artificial general intelligence, which as of now, officially, doesn't exist. Unofficially, doesn't exist. No one's done it. It's not there. We're not there. And I don't know if we even can get there. Many think, and I'm one of them, we can't get there. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to use the same hardware as we're using. If you want to make a bike, you have to make something that looks like a bike. If you're making something else that kind of works like a bike, then it works like a bike, but it's not a bike. You can make a scooter. Cool, it's got 2 wheels, it can go pretty quick, but it's not a bike. It's got different capabilities. It might be better in some aspects. Maybe it's more portable. Maybe it's faster. Not a scooter, it's not. But you get the idea. The machine is not going to replace you, don't worry. Hopefully that wasn't a worry to begin with. The machine is going to be something that enables you to bounce your ideas off of it. Be able to explore new ideas. Think of it as an extension of your thought process. That's one thing that Sean brings up that's brilliant and I do that with mismodulations, and I actually bring mismodulations up in the seminar. There are questions that are asked from the audience, and I'm one of those that asking questions. And I asked Sean about, hey, have you done any tweaking, retraining of these artificial intelligence systems? Think of like the GPT's platform that allows you to do this very easily, or just like
the Hugging Face distro of different models that you can use and take in and retrain and do all that. And apparently that's called RAG, which is fine-tuning further, as he describes it, is getting more data, more specific data in there for what you want it to pay attention to for specific tasks. And he describes he's done some of this with his team at Insomniac, is they've occasionally time to time played around with this idea of taking their code and putting it into these code generating models, and they get some stuff out. It's fun to mess with, but always ensure you're checking stuff, making sure it's actually good stuff to use, functional and whatnot. But lots of great things talked about. I'm not going to go touch on every single little thing. It's only a little bit over an hour. It's an hour, 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Some of that's the intro. Just watch it, please. It's absolutely brilliant. It is the best seminar I've seen on AI in years. It's truly fantastic. So that's all I've got to say.
So Sean McCobb of Insomniac Games gave the seminar on creativity in a Gen AI world, and that was probably the most impressive and intelligently built seminar I have ever seen in the past decade. It is truly brilliant. The way it was done, the way he introduced the topics, the way made it simple to understand for people who are new to it, and I actually learned something, which is fantastic. I am an absolute fanatic in the space of artificial intelligence development, and typically all I'm saying when talking about it is correcting, okay, that's not actually how that works. No, that's okay, sure, yeah. For the first time, I learned something new, and ages, and that felt great. So oh my goodness, there's more to learn. Yay. So I'll gonna bring it over to the post-production side for post-production C28 to go ahead and talk about some more stuff. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Hall of Fame 14, I think it's concluded for the day. So we're gonna wrap it up. Enjoy.
Why would you hit me? That's so rude. Okay, whatever. I mean, basically said the same stuff that I said. Anyway, yeah, that was it for Hall of Fame 14 today. So I did it. I got a second video. I don't know if I'm going to upload it in time. We'll see. I have a lot of editing to do, and yeah, this whole workflow of, hey, look, that's the video intro. Haha. I haven't even finished shooting this segment yet. That's how. I mean, that's a good explanation of exactly what I'm trying to say. Is I am trying a new workflow for recording these video logs, where some of the stuff will be done live, some of the stuff will be done not live. And sorry, yeah, the videos recorded today were not fantastic. They probably could have done with some moving my hand up a bit. I know a lot of them are shot from below, and I'm looking at you like that. Yeah, so I'll try to get some better framing. I don't know if I'm gonna get a microphone for myself out there. I think just getting the ambience is fine. You get the good microphone here. So let me know if you enjoy the live C28 or the post-production C28. Hopefully it's me, but we'll see. Of course, they're both literally me, so I'm fine either way. But I do appreciate my microphone. But on to the C28 segment. Same thing as last time. Same thing as yesterday. Yeah, I'm busy. So don't expect a whole lot this week other than the Hall of Fame stuff. I'm going to be doing lots and lots of more networking and whatnot, going to fun seminars. And hopefully I can get you some more footage from Hall of Fame. I need it anyway for my class assignments. So very fun indeed. Have a mate, Aiden Kirsch, recently have a birthday. So told him that I give him a shout out for one of my video logs. I missed it on Sunday, but back to it now. So hi Aiden, good seeing you. Yeah, I don't have anything else left to say. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, you can subscribe, and YouTube will happily give you more content like this from myself and other creators, you know. And if you super enjoyed it, you know what you can do. Hit the little blue button, join, become a control voltage, just like control voltages in this synth here. Control and move things around. You can control, move things around within C28, get some more direct control. You'll get access to the Discord server, early access to videos, behind the scenes content, and some more down the line, such as maybe members only privileges to chat in lives in the future once we get a few more yet, and it's not going to be just like myself and one other person vibing in chat. But if you have any questions or comments, you can of course leave those in the comment section below and I'll get back to them. Put them in the space around here. If they're really cool, interesting, I like them, whatnot, people should see them. And respond in this sort of way. With the comment there, me responding here. I hope you all take care of yourselves. God be with you. And goodbye, YouTube. My voice is still shot. It's a dumb outro. We'll keep it.